Namaste, and welcome to day 25 of the Ready, Steady, Shimmy challenge. Today is going to be super fun. Something that's going to help you build your shimmy practice for belly dance. Now, the exercise is to learn how to develop a shimmy drill that's going to help you in your dancing. That's going to help you in the way that your dancing or your shimmies visually come through. So when I teach the shimmies, one of my favorite ways of telling students to practice their knee shimmies is to sit on the floor and use the knees up and down. I have a YouTube tutorial about this, and I also teach it to my students when they come to classes with me. Now, I also like to push it a step further and say that, when you're in bed and you're relaxing and just taking it easy, you can also go into that shimmy practice of the knees. So you just let your body loose. Because the idea is the more we constrict and the tighter we get in our shimmies, the more difficult it is to flow with them. So if we are able to come into the state of absolute relaxation and then get our knees to keep that momentum forward and back, we can develop a wonderful practice that can be done anywhere, anytime. Now, today too, I'm going to be asking this of you. I'm going to be asking you to develop a sequence of 4. So example, just as when we go into a yoga practice, we have asanas that go in a sequence. And that helps us in opening different parts of our bodies, strengthening different muscle groups, different joints. Same way, I'm going to ask you now to develop a shimmy drill practice for yourself. Okay? So if you feel you want to start off, say 8 counts lying on the floor, super. But you're going to be as creative, as authentic, and try to bring as much variety as possible to this. Now, I like to put it this way and think of it this way, that say if I had an hour to drill my shimmies, but at the same time, if I could strengthen my body, improve my flexibility, open up my body, then this is the kind of practice that I would want to be led into. So you could think about coming into a lunge position and practicing your drop shimmies in a lunge position. You could think about, coming up into a passe position and practicing your shimmies in a passe position, your drop shimmies. Or if you want to say, for example, work on your strengthening or flexibility and work at the same time with the vibration shimmy in one leg or the Egyptian shimmy in one leg, that could work too. Now, this is to help you, A, become the master of your shimmies. B, it also helps you to design a very creative, interesting process that you can go into uniquely each time, depending on how you're feeling. Some days the practices can be committed to the Egyptian shimmies, some days the practices can be committed to the vibrations or the drop shimmies or whichever other shimmies you're acquainted with. You can also work with, say, releve, and as you create your shimmy, your leg goes up into a développé, and it comes back. You go into a développé on the other leg and you come back. So it's wonderful to try different things because it's going to help you engage with the different core muscle groups that you have. Yeah, so the different practices, okay, but these are going to also help you develop strength and flexibility. So bear that in mind. It doesn't have to be strength and flexibility both. It can be either one of those, but you want to be mindful of it. So it's almost like a asana flow. It's like a yoga flow. Say you're going from say this position to like this position, opening it up, shimmying and coming to like this position, and then continuing your shimmies and say you're coming down to this position. Now, the quality of my shimmies changed, which means that I sometimes express the movement through a drop shimmy, sometimes through an Egyptian shimmy, and that's absolutely okay. The quality of your shimmies can change. Which type of shimmy can change? But it's an asana flow. So think of it as your shimmy, asana, flow. Yeah? Shimmy yoga flow. Yeah? It's a beautiful exercise practice that you can start to use in your daily warm-up before you get into your dance practice. I absolutely love this creative tool. It's creative, but at the same time, it gives you a chance to develop variety because variety comes after the creative process, right? Till you're in the creative process, you're still discovering things. But as you move past the creative process, you're able to extract products out of it, which is what leads to that experience of variety. Yeah? So I'm just going to work with some music and just see what comes naturally. So you're going through a flow. And you want to maybe hold one for some time. That could be a nice way to go. So that's one way to do it. And I also take the liberty of working on different things. So sometimes I'm working on a drop shimmy, sometimes on an Egyptian, sometimes on a single Egyptian, sometimes on double vibration, sometimes going up and finding vibration. You know, we're so used to doing the vibration in a particular way or used to doing the Egyptian in a particular way. But what if you could change that? What if you could play around with that a little bit? Yeah? So try this one out. A sequence of 4, so 4 asana sequence, and within that your shimmies can change, vary. Make this as fun as possible for yourself. Super. Keep sending in those videos. I'll see you tomorrow.